Speaker is not in the House at this time, and as such, and as such, based on the time when the questions arrive, and the Speaker not being able to peruse questions at that time, the questions are not yet before us. I am very certain that as soon as the Speaker can peruse the questions, once the questions are in keeping with the standing orders, then the questions will be so tabled at the next appropriate time.
What they want to order? No wonder every Lawman get up.
I think I was up before you.
No, man.
The member was before you?
No. No.
Mr. Speaker, the standing order says the questions are delivered before the sitting of the House. The decision was that at least 24 hours before. If a member submits his or her question 24 hours before, it's no business of the member whether the Speaker look at it or not. It's supposed to be with it before the sitting. It can be 10 minutes before. It can be 10 minutes before. Okay? So if the Speaker says 24 hours, the member make my available to the clerk before. Okay? If the member delivered to the clerk 24 hours before, it's not member's fault. So we can't say the Speaker didn't have the time to look at them. Why the hell did you ask for the 24 hours before? It's not member's fault. The Speaker took 24 hours. The member filled his or her obligation. So it's not our business whether or not the Speaker look at it. It's our obligation to review it before. So don't tell the member this time. Don't tell the member. Don't tell the member the Speaker didn't get a chance to look at it. That's not unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And we should bring them to that level to come with this nonsense about taking a chance to read it. Nonsense.
Before you, House Leader, let me just read from the standing order. Based on my information. Sorry, turn the mic on. Based on my information, the questions were submitted at 3:41 p.m. yesterday. That is my information. Members. Before you all speak, I will be reading from the standing order as it relates to questions. Section 14, nature of question, subsection 2. Notice of a question may be handed by a member to the clerk during the period known as question time. Every such notice shall be signed by the member giving it. A member who desires an oral answer to a question shall mark his notice with an asterisk, and a question not so marked shall require a written answer, which, when received, shall be circulated with the minutes of the proceedings of the House. Subject to paragraph 5, a question marked for oral answer shall be put down for a day to be named by the member, being a day not earlier than 21 clear days after the question has appeared on the question paper. I am reading from the book, that's all.
Hold on there. So you tell me say every Wilmington blackboard out to catch up in a parliament. But this not normal, brother. No, Jamaica. Pastor Peter Chambers was right. There'll be constant war among them. I'm going to be watching Parliament very closely moving forward, man. There seems to be an erosion Everal Warmington is not taking any prisoners, man. My goodness, people, I can show up the video for me. They make people know some life, because this not normal.
Mr. Speaker, in adopting the position advanced earlier by the member from Southwest St. Catherine, I'd just like to say, Mr. Speaker, that anything can happen to the sitting speaker. And if we can advance now by urging the deputy speaker to also be in a position to vet these questions and to signal approval. So it need not have to wait on the substantive speaker.
Yeah, but waste the time.
These routine matters.
Yeah, it might waste the time, my people.
That you've read already, the section you've read, Mr. Speaker, it really is not relevant to the issue at hand. Right?
Yeah, because I wonder why I'm just read a while ago.
So, Mr. Speaker, I would have just gotten sight of the Speaker's ruling on this matter the last time that it came up. And what I said earlier was not a part of the Speaker's ruling in relation to the 24-hour period.
Yeah, I know.
What the Speaker had indicated in her ruling is that the standing orders are to be strictly adhered to. In other words, at question time, the member looking to table questions are to hand up the questions at that time. At that time, the questions, then there will be a vetting of the questions. It does not mean that the questions being handed up at this time, that the Speaker who is currently sitting in the House will be able to vet them immediately and to see if they are keeping with the standing orders. And to be clear, let me just read what was said.
This is a
Standing Order
gigantic
52
waste of
provides
time.
a notice of a question may be handed to the clerk during question. So when the Speaker indicates question time, all members are reminded that strict adherence to this standing order is required to avoid confusion or conflict. So in other words, bringing it in before 24 hours, that's not the methodology, right? So no, that's not what, this is the ruling of the Speaker. Once received by the clerk, when it comes to question, once received by the clerk, each question must be submitted to the Speaker.
Party shop government never run.
Discharge of the responsibilities.
I forget rid of them people. A party shop government never run, brother. Party shop government never run. Is a disgrace. Party shop government.
Understanding Order 16.2. That standing order empowers the Speaker to determine whether a question infringes any standing order or constitutes an abuse of the right of questioning, and to direct the question to be amended or entered in the order book with such alterations as may be necessary. The Speaker's review ensures that the questions are properly framed, comply with the standing orders, and may be tabled in an orderly and procedurally correct manner. According to Standing Order 15.2, Standing Order 52 does not guarantee same-day tabling. Effective immediately, questions submitted during question time under Standing Order 15.2 will be received and reviewed by the Speaker. All questions will be tabled following the completion of the Speaker's review once deemed to be in full compliance with the standing orders. The procedure safeguards the rights of members, ensures the orderly management of parliamentary business, and confirms that all questions comply with the standing orders. Members are therefore expected to comply fully with these directions. As such, we can recommit question time for the member to submit to the clerk the questions. And then the Speaker will review the questions for the questions to be in keeping with the standing orders in accordance with 52, and once that review is done, then the questions will be tabled. Well, let us, you have a right to table in accordance with the standing orders. So let us proceed with that standing order. Yes. That is the Speaker's ruling, isn't it? No, that's the note. Just to be clear, members, I would have said earlier, and that was incorrect. What the Speaker has indicated is what I just read. That was her ruling that in keeping with the standing orders, during question time, the questions are to be tabled, and then they'll be reviewed by the Speaker to ensure that they're in keeping with the standing orders. It's very clear. It was sent to all members.
That was a bunch of blah, blah, blah. You know? So now, Daryl Vaz run out in a parliament and say him get misinformation from JPS. Now him come tell people the wrong thing, and when Everal Warmington check him on it now, I know he can't talk to Everal Warmington. You know. None of them know they can't talk to Everal Warmington. You understand? All of them in the party know. Probably except for Andrew. But none of them can't talk to Everal Warmington. Them know. Them know. Yeah. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Now, him still attack? Wait, him still attack?
Member from St. Catherine Southeastern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Having followed the logic of the leader of government business and the ruling by the Speaker, what we are doing is concentrating the powers of a gatekeeper into the hands of the Speaker. Because if you submit something and the Speaker decides that it's going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we can end up in a situation where the tabling of the questions will be delayed until the matter is no longer relevant.
Madness.
Now, where did this
Madness.
24 hours come from? And why is it that we were referring to 24 hours and then the pushback to say that it was late by half an hour no longer stood? We're hearing now that it is going to be tabled during question time, and at the discretion of the Speaker, maybe this year the questions will be deemed appropriate.
Listen, yo, Parliament Act today. This is a fundamental issue. This is not a small thing, you know. Parliament Act today. So now we have to get up back again. Because that's a fact. To the discretion of the Speaker, she is a gatekeeper now. I really think you want to talk. Alright, so Merle, you're supposed to table questions 24 hours. According to the standing orders. You're supposed to table questions in the Parliament 24 hours. Their argument was that the questions them come in half an hour late. These are the games that I'm playing. These are the games that I'm play with the people and business, you know. Party shop government, you know. Loose government, you know. So now, I'm going to have to play that back because what he said was perfectly right. Because you see, this man just come up now and move the goalposts and I tell us one total different thing from what he said before, and then I tell us that he made a mistake before. But what he's now telling us means then the issue can be left up to whether or not. It's a gatekeeper thing, and that's exactly why them set it how them set it. They know what they're doing. The JLP is, they're structuring everything to make sure that the governing party always have the advantage and not the people of Jamaica. All they care about is maintaining them so-called power them have. And meanwhile, the people's business suffer. This is it. Big up Mr.
Member from St. Catherine Southeastern.
Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dr. Alfred.
Having followed the logic of the leader of government business and the ruling by the Speaker, what we are doing is concentrating the powers of a gatekeeper into the hands of the Speaker. Because if you submit something and the Speaker decides that it's going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
I don't know who I talked to Alfred as a while ago. I'm like, yeah, either. What me I say?
3 weeks, 4 weeks, we can end up in a situation where the tabling of the questions will be delayed until the matter is no longer relevant.
No longer relevant. Madness.
Now, where did this 24 hours come from? And why is it that we were referring to 24 hours and then the pushback to say that it was late by half an hour no longer stood? We're hearing now that it is going to be tabled during question time, and at the discretion of the Speaker, maybe this year the questions will be deemed appropriate.
Moving the goalpost, ladies and gentlemen. And we, the people, suffer. True.
Remember, the ruling from the speaker was from last December. So pay attention to that. It was from last December.
It doesn't matter.
So it's not just now. It has been here for at least a month or so.
Yeah, but that a foolishness, see me. That don't make it right. Why am I saying nah say nothing? He's not saying anything.
Mr. Speaker, I rise simply for clarity. I was actually in the House one Tuesday afternoon when the Speaker made a big point about making sure that the questions came in time before. Yes, I was sitting here. No one told me. I heard it with my own 2 ears. In fact, the point that you have raised was the point a member sought to make. And he was made to seem as if he was ignorant to the standing orders. In fact, the Speaker did say that he should know better because he had been here before. And so I do not want us to just run across it like that and pretend that the Speaker did not give us different instructions separate to the note that she has written. In fact, if you just allow me, I'm ending now. In fact, the problem has been that in trying to keep order, sometimes the Speaker goes beyond, yes, what she is supposed to. And I think that just a little discretion and treating us as adults to listen to the points that we are making in that conversation could assist.
Mr. Speaker, you know.
Yo, I love this lady, Miss Yo, man, listen, bro. I'm so sorry I don't have all my gadgets working, man. I really feel upset right now. I'm so upset right now because these are all TikTok moments, and I can't even do anything.
I'll start with the last one made by the member. One of the challenges that we've had in this House is probably that point about discretion. What the Speaker has consistently tried to do is to keep us in line with the standing orders. It doesn't have to do with treating anybody like children, but we are a parliament of rules, and the rules are contained in the standing orders.
Brother, stop your chatting, man. I chat too much, man. Because I be a move when I move a goalpost. And I definitely I try treat the people them like them a picnic. You understand? And I go around the Jamaican people them and our business. Run with man, I go where if you go, man.
And if as adults we do not like the rules,
man.
As adults we do not like the rules, we do not chastise the person who is keeping the rules. We use the processes to amend the rules. So it is very important that we do not misrepresent the approach of the Speaker. And the beauty with the Speaker, other than indicating her view,
big up yourself, Black Loki.
The Speaker reduces to writing in very clear terms her position and ruling on matters. And what she does is to consult and then to issue a ruling. So on the 2nd day of December, 2025, on the Speaker's ruling on the House of Parliament documentation, the Speaker has a very clear ruling. So I ask all the members to familiarize themselves with the ruling. Secondly, to the member from St. Catherine, the standing orders does make the Speaker the gatekeeper. It is very clear. Standing order 16 says, the 16.1 says, the right to ask a question shall be subject to the following general rules, as to the interpretation of which the Speaker shall be the sole judge. There's only one Speaker, and the Speaker has to be that judge. So again, to be clear, and I apologize to the House earlier in relation to not first consulting with the Speaker's very clear ruling. To be clear, when the House reaches the agenda item, question time, the member who is desirous of asking questions are to submit their questions to the clerk. The clerk will work with the Speaker in relation to the review of those questions. I appreciate questions about time frame. It's one of the issues that the standing order is silent on. However, I am very sure, especially whether it be the Deputy Speaker or the Speaker, that it will be done in reasonable time. Reasonable is a construct of law. Reasonable time. Reasonable has to be depending on the questions, whether, remember, the Speaker is going to assess whether the questions fit in to the rules. So it depends. Member Bunting asks about 30 questions, 35 maybe, under different categories. You understand? So, I understand everybody. There is no attempt to frustrate. It's an attempt to put a system in place. Let's stick with the standing orders. Speaker.
Question and answers. The question go. Question that...
Let me tell you something. That is a fundamental problem. Right? She being the gatekeeper while being the Prime Minister's wife, No, that's a fundamental problem. She should have never been Speaker of the House, not even the first time. I have them the powers there. To be the gatekeeper of which question and which matters to deal with. No, ladies and gentlemen. Jamaica is running like a party shop. You notice them just admit that she's a gatekeeper. No, them have too much powers. Andrew Wallace and his wife have too much powers. God have to remove them. Them have to go.
Answer to questions.
Them
Mr.
have to
Speaker,
go.
I
God have to
indicated
remove
long ago
them.
when my mic has been on.
Them have
That's
to
why I'm
go.
touching this I know. The mic has been on before the leader spoke.
Member from St. Catherine Southern, go ahead.
First, I want the removal of the member from Western Kingston. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Noreen,
the
how
manner
you
of
doing?
the rulings of the Speaker in recent times have become very controversial.
Yes.
And it is unusual. It is unusual. The standing order in number 72, Privileges Committee of Parliament. The standing order allows for the rules that govern the operations, the privileges.
Let me hear the point of order. Turn your mic on, please.
I think it's very inappropriate to be discussing a matter involving the Speaker in the absence of the Speaker. And furthermore,
Chat your chat, man.
Furthermore,
Rubbish
Mr.
your
Speaker,
chat.
to question the standing orders on which the Parliament is operating. Mr. Speaker, I believe that it is a point of order. It is a point of order.
Sir.
And the members are using this for grandstanding. The grandstanding. And you should not allow it, Mr. Speaker. You should not. Not yet.
Sit down, Blackboard, sit down.
My mic was on. Okay.
I hear you there.
Members, if you continue to have the crosstalk, then we will just continue with the business of the House. I gave you the floor, and you started to make some comments, which is no way in keeping with the standing order that you're raising on. Understand? Please. No, you don't have to respond to my comment. You stand on the
Good
ground.
night,
to make
Noreen.
a
Good night.
statement. Go ahead quickly with it. So, all right, so we can move on. We're making a statement.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Member from St. Catherine Southern, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker.
Be an idiot thing then go on in the Parliament, you know.
Hold on, Faith. Hold on, Faith.
Be a disrespect.
Mr. Speaker. Faith.
Be a disrespect thing.
Hold on. Hold on.
Member from St. Catherine South, sit.
Turn his mouth on.
Be an idiot thing them are going with. That is it. That is it. That is it. That is it.
I will say this. When I asked a member to sit a while ago, I asked a member from St. Catherine Southern to sit because his mic from I was asking a member whose mic was on to sit so I could address you. But you continue to shout across the floor. I am saying to you, your mic was on, and before you could even start to make your presentation, you were cross-talking with another member. You did. I am going to ask you, member. I am going to ask you to sit now. I am going to ask you to sit. Member from St. Catherine, Southwestern.
Hey, man, I tell you, them a work feet, you know. Them a work feet.
I
Them a
am
work feet,
ruling
man.
on this. I am asking the member
Them a work feet, man.
from St. Catherine, Southwestern. Your mic is lighted up and I'm going to turn it on now. You are the person who has the floor.
No, Mr. Speaker. No.
Hold on.
Mr. Speaker, my mic is
Mr.
on now and
Speaker,
I will speak.
sit.
My mic is on now.
Member, the only reason you're behaving in that manner now, I simply gave you the floor. All you did was I'm giving the person next to speak, and he is going to speak.
Brother, you waste the people them time, brother.
Member from St. Catherine South. Member from St. Catherine South. Oh, I'm on top.
Yo, Jamaica run like an idiot country, brother, in our parliament.
Mr. Speaker, all I wish to say at the outset, one, rulings from the chair, from the Speaker's chair, have been most controversial in recent times. This Parliament has seen speakers from both sides. It has never happened before.
Never.
We have
Sure.
never had these levels of controversies about the Speaker.
Sure, no
They
joke.
are easily adhered to by either side. We have walked that road before. The Privileges Committee in the Parliament sets out a way to arrive at a consensus around how the House's business are conducted. It is not for the Speaker to unilaterally, arbitrarily set rules on the running of the House.
Yes.
And there's a reason for that, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
The Parliament will change from time to time. And whichever side is in government is expected to abide by the commonly agreed rules. And it's for that reason why the rules in the House ought to be arrived at through consensus on both sides.
Yes.
Not by the opposition by itself, and neither by the government. It's a parliament of members.
Yes.
And all we're asking for, the rules that will obtain as regards to questions or any other matters, private members' motion, how they are dealt with procedurally, they will settle there. The ruling of the Speaker as an umpire is to ensure that the decision of the moment when the House is in session is in keeping with those agreed provisions. Now, mates, that is not a standing order. It's recognized because it says both sides must agree. So even if the standing order is not explicit on a particular point, there is nonetheless an agreed way in which those matters are dealt with. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully and humbly submit. If we continue with that convention, which has not been controversial before, we won't have much of the problems that we're having in the House. And for heaven's sake, we don't want posterity to judge the tenure of this House in a very unfavorable way. So I make a plea. Let us just revert to an orderly, balanced way of how the House business is conducted. I have, lastly before I take my seat, I have in the past Parliament prepared questions, submitted them before time, and it's 1.5 months before they're able to end up reaching here. I've been on the receiving end myself, which has not been in keeping with the conventions of the Parliament. So I make my plea, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Let the man talk. You shut off the man mic for your stinky right clock. I go here for go. That are the thing them where they don't want the man then talk about.
Mr. Speaker,
You see that?
just you make reference to ruling by the Speaker. You read section of the standing order. But may I draw the House's attention to the fact that the Speaker's ruling cannot be in conflict with the standing orders. And if such rulings are in conflict with the standing order supersedes any ruling. from any speaker.
You remember good? Nobody ramp it everyone Wilmington. No. Parliament Act. No, Parliament Act today. Parliament Act today. You couldn't tell me it's a Parliament Act. Nobody could call me. I want to stay so, yo. I have my number 2, yo. I couldn't, you know. You understand? They're on the road still, but damn. Parliament Act. Steaming Act. Oh. Yeah, this one. Let me fast forward this.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to add my concern to the conversation because I don't know if I'm hearing something differently, but it's coming across from what I've heard. A member said from St. Catherine South, as if the speaker is on a front, as if she's doing. No, let me finish this. And that is not my experience, and that's not what I heard the House leader read. The House leader read the ruling of the speaker. From listening to it, the speaker's ruling was consistent with the standing order. So member from St. Catherine South, if you're asking the speaker to be consistent with the standing order, then the ruling of the speaker is proper. Her action in relation to questions be posed or tabled is in line, is consistent. To ask her not to speak or not to do that would be asking her to be inconsistent with the standing order. So I just want to make the point very clearly, Mr. Speaker. Let us not paint the picture that the speaker is operating in a manner that's not consistent with the standing order, because that's not true. That's not true. The speaker, the ruling is very clear.
Get up back every Wilmington. Get up back every Wilmington. Get up back. Get up
back.
So,
Mr. Speaker, I think the member from Clarendon Central was on point in relation to his framing of it, and also the member from St. Catherine Southwestern, that whatever the speaker rules has to be in accordance with the standing order. There has been no controversial ruling by the speaker. And it is unfortunate.
Shut your chat, man.
It is
chat.
It is unfortunate.
Chat your chat.
It is
rubbish your chat.
It is unfortunate.
Rubbish.
It is unfortunate if it is framed like that. There may be rulings.
Rubbish.
There may be rulings that people don't agree with.
Rubbish your chat.
That doesn't rise to controversy.
Rubbish your chat.
On this matter, the member from St. Catherine South is correct. You only go to Mace for interpretation if the provision is not clear. There is no lack of clarity in relation to these provisions. The challenge is that they have not been adhered to over the years. This speaker is saying we are adhering to the standing order, and that will benefit every member of the House. As the member from Manchester Southern tabled this question, would have been answered in the time. Were it not for I could be here that day, and he got it the next time at back. The member from St. Catherine Southwestern has moved his private members' motion. They have been debated in keeping with the standing order. The member from St. Catherine Southwestern, you don't get up, I'm talking now. Don't tell me about that. I'm talking now. What I'm saying, we are adhering to the standing order. Thank you.
Of a bill short, in order to be suspended to allow the minister to vote and be read after motion.
Look, I believe it is you can have stakeholders review it, give their comments before going through this process. So I'm not here to comment on.
All right. I'm going to leave that alone. Parliament Act to the boy. But Mr. Something there is absolutely right. Mr. Fitz. Because you see, him have him experience with the Speaker of the House. Right? And so much people cannot tell lie on her. So much people from the opposition cannot be lying on her. She's biased towards the opposition, right? And she used standing orders to try and frustrate the opposition when dealing with the people's business. She don't move with alacrity. Or if you have one question and a 1 month before the question them asks. I see something Mr. Dawes talk about, Alfred Dawes. That's gonna make the representative appear to the people that actually they represent as if they're not doing their jobs as opposition. The whole of them are germs, brother. Every one of them in the JLP in the government. 35 of them are, the whole of them are germs. You understand? All of them are germs, brother. No apology, bro. Them not ready, brother. Them not ready. Anyway, what me want to ask, you know, is what is going on in Jamaica with the drugs. Oh, so much cocaine is being found in Jamaica. What changed between last year, this time, and now. Yo! Nursing student turn heartbreak into healing. Her sister was diagnosed with stage 4 gastric cancer. Wow! So she got to learn how to help her sister. That's powerful. When Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica October 28th last year, 44-year-old Teresa Diana Wedderburn of Pell River, Hanover, and her husband of 5 children were among the scores impacted. Oh, they got a container home. Wow. Okay. Make me find this a story because, mighty God, police handcart operator charged with burglary and robbery after allegedly luring man to abandoned building in Old Harbour. Say what now? Burglary? Wait, what? What you say? What that mean? What? You have to read that article there. The People's National Party Women's Movement. Alright, so let me just deal with the doing fast thing. You see that lady there? You see that lady there? That lady there is a... I don't know what I'm going with she and Dwayne Vaz, but it not really make no sense. From in at the election time. So she did on an interview and she said some things, right? So this came out. This was sent to her. Dear Madam, defamation statement made by you against Dwayne Vaz published and broadcast on nationwide. Kindly be advised, we represent Mr. Dwayne Vaz, Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland. During the broadcast referred to at caption in which you were interviewed, you made a number of false and defamatory statements concerning our client, including, but not limited to the following. You alleged that your political career was being destroyed by our client as a consequence of your refusal to accede to his alleged sexual advances. You accused our client of stating that you were fixing labor right roads. You further alleged that our client removed you from your position as a chairman of the Savlamar division. This statement is entirely false. In truth and in fact, an election was duly held at the said division which you attended and during which you were neither nominated for any office nor elected to any position by the members voting in a free and fair election. These statements are wholly untrue and have caused and continue to cause serious damage to our client's reputation. We note your recent interview in which you sought to rely on allegations of sexual harassment said to be appropriately 10 months old as a tool to advance a narrative against our client. This conduct is most unfortunate. So, Knight, Juna, and Samuels, attorney at law, this, let me see if we can make on see. See there? That's a statement that's allegedly from them, right? I saw this on Facebook at for the press. Let me see. Jamaica, tell undercover JLP worker Julian Chang to stop walk with her pee in her forehead. Lord have mercy. What is this? Hold on there. Wait. Whoa. Watch out. So these are out? Damn. So this is allegedly a thread of Dwayne Vaz and Julian Chang. Good morning. You know me dream about you last night. Really, I hope it's good. What you dreamt? Was good. Now I tell you, dead will laugh. This seems very cordial. LOL, when you're coming back, you'll be here for the hospital tour Monday. Trying. There's a snowstorm. Okay. She said, nice. You should have bring me. No, him said this is outside his home. Him said, no, I'm stuck. But if this is indeed true, this don't sound like a man or harass a woman. Hey, men, let me tell you something. Get married here. Get married. Be with one good woman. Leave these harlots alone. You heard what I said? Get married. God's plan for us is the best plan. Ask God to find your wife. Pray for God to find your wife. You understand what him approve. And get married. Leave these harlots alone. Brother, let me tell you something. You see, when you move on from a flirtatious situation and change from a girl, there's some girl that's vindictive. Yeah, man, you don't have consensual relations, and next thing you hear, story come out say you do her something, some sexual wrong thing. Protect yourself, you gentlemen. It's a cold world out there. I will say no more. Moving on. Jamaica Constabulary Force recently rolled out a 3-day drone pilot training program. Okay. Alright. Sibling perished in an icy pond. What? Yo, the snow are going bad over there, you know? 45 people dead. No, sir. No, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this.
During cross-examination in the murder trial of 6 policemen charged in the 2013 killings of 3 men in St. Andrew, on Monday, Mr. Green rejected the claim. Hello, I'm Jovan Johnson. Defense attorney Hugh Wildman accused Agriculture Minister Floyd Green of being a consummate liar during cross-examination in the murder trial of 6 policemen charged in the 2013 killings of 3 men in St. Andrew. On Monday,
Yo, Ryan, what's up, bro?
Maintaining that he accurately observed police activity from his apartment overlooking the scene. Integrity Commission Executive Director Craig Beresford says the agency is struggling to retain and attract skilled staff because its salaries are uncompetitive compared with other investigative bodies. He warned that low pay risks staff departures mid-investigation, potentially delaying probes and affecting the Commission's effectiveness. Veteran broadcaster Walter Charles Bob Clark, who hosted the program Memories on Area FM, died on Tuesday morning after a period of illness. He was 75. Mr. Clark's media career spanned more than 5 decades. The Jamaica Constabulary Force recently rolled out a 3-day drone pilot training program in Montego Bay, St. James, to expand surveillance operations and boost its crime-fighting capacity. Head of the St. James Police, Senior Superintendent Aaron Samuels, says the program will give the police a bird's-eye view into conducting surveillance. In sports, Jamaica's under-17 Reggae girls will continue their hunt for a place in the 2026 FIFA Under-17 World Cup when they play hosts Aruba on Tuesday. In your currency trading at midday today, $1 was being sold for $157.77, the British pound sterling for $216.88, and the Canadian dollar for $116.66. In your weather forecast, on Wednesday morning, there will be isolated showers across sections of northern parishes. In the afternoon, expect cloudy skies with isolated showers likely across southern parishes. And that's it for the Cleaner Minute. Remember to follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram, and like.
Big up the Gleaner. Alright. Rotted. So why the Gleaner do that? Why me can't say the full story? Nearly 3 months after Hurricane Melissa tore through Western Jamaica, the Jamaica Public Service, in partnership with Government Commission and Emergency Mobile Power Generator Unit in Darlington, Westmoreland on Sunday, marking a critical step in restoring electricity to some of the hardest hit areas, addressing residents gathered at Darlington Primary School. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz recalled visiting the area just weeks after the hurricane with JPS President Hugh Grant when traditional restoration methods were deemed unworkable due to the scale of damage. So, oh, him and Darrell Vaz so close. Right now, me have to pre-JPS, you know, because Darrell Vaz make some damning statements about JPS. I mean, I hear JPS come out and say nothing. The man ain't quiet like a lamb. So they really tell Darrell Vaz like? Still ask the question there. Charges dropped against 2 arrested with wanted man Courtney Bloodstain Ashley. Alright. Melissa Power Restoration continues in earnest. 32,000 customers still in the dark. JPS CEO tells PAAC. So he went to the PAAC this time. Representative of the Jamaica Public Service today appeared before the Parliament Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, where they sought to assure that the power company is working earnestly to restore electricity to customers in the dark since Hurricane Melissa. Well on there. Make me go look for that. Make me go look for that the clip there. No sir. Right name? JPS, no JBC, or JIS. You know how they're supposed to come from, not true? JIS Live. This is one that gone already. Steam Week 2026 Public Lecture and Symposium.
Question survey. We were bubbling. We walked.
To practice integration across all subjects.
Southeastern University, respectively. He is a Jamaica 20.
Because we got lost about 4 or 5 times. I'm not exaggerating. We got lost about 4 or 5 times. And so at one point, someone pulled out their phone and said, let me Google this thing, let me map this thing. But on the map, every time we got to a road that on the map suggests that we turn left, by the time we got there, the road disappeared, so there was no left.
Dr. Holness, and they get tour support and the number of
and its development. However, yes. And also, Kingston has appeared in 2015 December. However, there is also opportunity.
So how come they not film that?
However, feel, Minister, that there should also
I not see no filming of that. That's kind of strange. It's kind of strange, you know. I don't see any filming of that.
Mr. Bunting. Also,
in of biology, and to that extent,
to advance a narrative.
All right, so I found the second part of the letter from the journalist, right? From the lawyers. Because it says here, the conduct is most unfortunate. During the interview, when questioned as to whether you had reported the allegation to the People's National Party, you stated you had informed everyone. However, when pressed further, you admitted that no report had in fact been made to the said woman's group. Okay. So this is why the People's National Party women's put out the women's support put me gonna read that. Hold on. So this lady she's very disingenuous. Julian, whatever she want to name Chong, she very disingenuous because Sita said for the avoidance of doubt of any allegation of sexual harassment arising within the People's National Party would plainly fall within the remit of the PNP women's movement, which is an obvious and directly interested body to receive, document, and address such complaints. Your administration, your admission that no report was ever made to this said women's movement is therefore telling and materially undermines the credibility, seriousness, and veracity of the allegations you sought to advance during the broadcast. This inconsistency is misleading and casts serious doubt on the reliability of your statements. Furthermore, you made false statements during the interview when you asserted that you were unaware that Mr. Vaz was married. No. So she flirted. So, no, sir. Mighty God. This is one hotter than soap opera. Furthermore, you fall. Sorry. This. Furthermore, you made false statements during the interview when you asserted that you were unaware that Mr. Vaz was married. The assertion is demonstrably untrue. Jesus. Yo, me love liars, you know. The man, they say the assertion is demonstrably untrue, as you were fully aware of his marital status and had personally observed him wearing his wedding ring since 2024, the year of his marriage. In light of the foregoing, we hereby formally call upon you to immediately issue a public apology and full withdrawal of your false and defamatory statements to be published on nationwide radio on or before Friday, 30th of January, being 3 business days from the date to this letter. The precise terms of the apology and withdrawal are to be agreed between yourself and or an attorney of your choosing and the law firm of Knight, Jr. and Samuels. Take notice that should you fail to issue the requisite apology and withdrawal, our clients will have no alternative but to institute legal proceedings against you for defamation without further notice. Your faithfully, Knight, Jr. Samuels. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian Chung, or whatever she want name, formerly of the PNP, you need to come down. You need to come down. This is a very, very clear. And if this doesn't, let me read the other document that shows you how much she is in the wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read the other document.
Against our client.
Let me read the other document. See? Let me read the other document. This is from the women's team. The PNP women's movement. People's National Party women's movement reaches out to Councillor Julia Chung and the party leadership amidst allegations of sexual harassment. The People's National Party Women Movement President notes with concern the allegation made by Comrade Chang. These allegations first came to our attention when they were shared by Comrade Chang during the radio interview. So them never know about it. The women's movement never know about it. So if the women's movement never know about it, that means you never report it because they would be the one to deal with it, just like where the lawyer them say. We are confident that the party will empanel its independent complaints committee as per our laws and ensure that the matter is fully ventilated and investigated and appropriate actions taken. We are heartened that in 2018 the PMP's annual conference approved the sexual harassment policy that now gives us the framework to deal with this matter. The women's movement does not condone any form of sexual harassment or abuse. We continue to stand for a Jamaica that all citizens feel safe and empowered, especially our women, knowing that their concerns will be heard and dealt with fairly and appropriately. And we start with our party. So this is just a formal statement to let it be known and understood that they never got any report, you know. They never get no report. She needs to come down. She not ready. She not ready, ladies and gentlemen. She's not ready. Let me go to this now. I have to go to this story. Yeah, man. Farmer in custody following cocaine bus in Saxters Airport. My goodness. Google. Farmer in custody. Same you can say. Farmer in custody following cocaine bus at Sangsters International Airport. People, I can't even tell you what the actual thing reading right here. So that is so nasty. Farmer in custody following cocaine bus at Sangsters International Airport. Yeah, that is it. So I am not seeing the news article pop up. Come like them not recognize. Come like them not recognize, ladies and gentlemen. You know? Because it's supposed to be see if we can find it. See if we can find it. Ah, see that? Find it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's listen to this. Well, it's a short one. It says police has seized 108 pounds of cocaine during an operation at Sangsters International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James. The seizure was made at about 7 p.m. on Monday. A farmer of St. Elizabeth address was taken into custody in connection with the find. The cocaine was reportedly discovered during a search at the airport. Investigations are now being carried out by the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division, FNID. Remember, Jetline, how you doing? Jetline, please, just calm down now. It doesn't matter how you vet people. People can change. There's no perfect system. People can change. The simplest thing can have people change, yeah? So there's no clear system. It's not the PNP fault why Julian Cham is behaving the way she's behaving. It's not their fault. Know that she's behaving the way she's behaving. They can act on that, but you can't really blame them for that. Come on. So that's the story, guys. The cocaine bust in Jamaica is getting quite outlandish, if you ask me. Like, there's a whole bunch of that happening. Police handcart operator charged with burglary. Let me see how this story is, because it says a 30-year-old handcart operator has been charged with gun possession, burglary, and robbery after he allegedly attacked a man during that incident in New Harbour Village in Old Harbour, St. Catherine. Police say the accused man from Marley Hill Brown Hall in St. Catherine was charged in connection with an incident reported to have occurred about 3:15 p.m. January 13. A statement said Tuesday, according to the reports of the Old Harbour Police, the accused met a man at a fast food establishment in an area. The man reportedly agreed to visit the accused man's home, but was instead led to an abandoned building. What? Police alleged that the accused man brandished a firearm and robbed the man of an iPhone 16 Pro Max. First of all, why was he going to his home? Why did they meet at a fast food place? Police alleged that he tried to thief him iPhone valued at $200,000, his car keys, and a wallet containing a bank card, identification card, and $15,000. The investigators alleged that the man was sexually assaulted after the robbery. What? Yo, you see this? Just throw him away. Just walk on Kim on. You hear this? The man robbed the man and him phone, him car keys, and him wallet, and him bank card and everything. And it is alleged that he was sexually assaulted after the robbery. No. A them a type of criminal there, Jamaica. Lock him up and throw away key. Lock him up and throw away key. Nobody with the court case. Just lock him up and throw away key. The police were subsequently alerted. Upon their arrival, the accused man was pointed out to them. He was accosted and searched, and a Taurus A38 revolver was allegedly found in his waistband. The fireman was seized and the accused man taken into custody, where he was later charged. No, the firearm was seized, sorry. And the accused man, people. No. Man, I robbed him and I sexually assaulted in Jamaica. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no goddamn way. Hell. No, sir. No, sir.
Speaking the word of God.
No, sir. No, sir. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar, ladies and gentlemen. Right? The devil is a liar. Where's London? I thought she was live. London 45. PM.
Matters arising from the report be referred to the Financial Investigations Division, the FID. The Integrity Commission's report makes the import in the investigation report that matters arising from the report be referred to the Financial Investigations Division, the FID. The Integrity Commission's report makes the important point that, as Prime Minister and Head of Government, Mr. Andrew Holness has a higher duty to the public to ensure that the laws of Jamaica are maintained and that he acts in keeping with the standards of principled behavior required of his very high office. I'm sad to say, and I take no glee in saying this, that Mr. Holness has failed in this solemn duty to the Jamaican people. He has known since May 2023 that he was under investigation for illicit enrichment, which is a corruption offense created by Section 14(5) of the Corruption Prevention Act. Yes, Mr. Holness is one of the illicit 6, now the illicit 8, and he has known this for well over a year. Yet Mr. Holness misled the country by withholding the truth about this investigation in statements that he made both in and outside Parliament over this period, even telling Jamaica that he had asked far and wide, and none of his MPs were under investigation for illicit enrichment. This extended withholding of the truth, this fundamentally dishonest deception of the people of Jamaica obliterates any trust and confidence in the Prime Minister. How can we believe anything he says in light of the extended failure to tell us the truth that he was indeed under investigation for a serious criminal offense? This unprecedented situation is fundamentally incompatible with his continuing to hold office as Prime Minister. The Integrity Commission's report contains several serious findings which reinforce the need for Mr. Holness to go now. I will mention 3 of these. Firstly, there is the purchase of an investment for $94,000 using, as part of the money that was put up to buy this investment, $32,000 from a registered charity of which Mr. Holness is a director, called the Positive Jamaica Foundation.
By the way, Kadisha Rochester, that same Positive, yeah man, she was there. She was working in Yaman, just, you know, as a fact, yes.
Commingled with resources from his personal company, Imperium, including $30,000 from an account that he had with SSL. Yes, SSL. Mr. Holness reported this investment for several years as 100% belonging to his company, Imperium, when the charity's money had been used to acquire it as well as his own. Indeed, 1/3 of the money came from the charity. One can only wonder how local and international donors to that charity feel about its resources being used to enrich Mr. Holness personally. Secondly, the filing of nil returns in the investigation report that matters.
Yo, when you really look back at Andrew on the situation, you know, it's really terrible, you know. Yeah, man. It's really terrible. But we're gonna move on. I really wanted to check out what was happening here. Yeah, this one.
To restore the grid.
The revised and the latest estimate that we have on the restoration cost is in the order of $300 million. So that has been reduced.
Very interesting.
Back to the Chanelity girl and Isabel Rosen. In this one, after 3 failed attempts for the JPS boss to grace his presence in the parliament, he has finally showed up at the PAAC meeting today.
Then get them stories straight.
Parliamentarians who are members of that committee hitting him with questions left, right, and center. And there were a lot of questions surrounding even the $150 million that was loaned to them via the Ministry of Finance, to which opposition leader Mark Golding had questioned, and we're seeing some of those questions being regurgitated, to which I am not sure if the responses are clarifying anything, but I want to listen to the entire, question and answer in this segment that I took away from that meeting. And on the video judge it, because I am just not getting the clarity that is deserving for the entire Jamaican populace. Please stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Over the JPS, what excuses we got today for not being here? The CEO had called me personally on Monday. He said there was a fatal accident involving a convoy of overseas linemen. Is he a doctor, a nurse? Does he drive a hearse? Look, this is the 3rd time we've got excuses from JPS for not being here. I think it's a matter of level of disrespect. It's a height of disrespect and disregard for Parliament. If you have that disrespect and disregard for this committee, it means for Parliament. And I'm more that we issue summons or subpoena, whatever it is here, for them to appear before this committee. We cannot take this type of disrespect from any other institution, and they're the only one that appear like this. The issue is, and this is why my next private member's motion will be dealing with sanction for people who show disrespect for Parliament and contempt for committees. There, at this time now, we have nothing in law that you can, sanction them with. So this is the part that I'm coming with now, because this is height of disrespect and disregard for the institution of Parliament.
Just in terms of the expense, I know there was an indication that...
For context, that was last week. Everyone went and was like, yo, this is too much. Wow.
JPS had said it would take about $450 million thereabouts to restore the grid. Was this to get it back to the category 3 level, or was it to get it to where you see it with the Elegant Corridor and other parts being underground? That's one. And second, have you been able to raise that funds to deal with the restoration in the way that you had in mind?
Hi, Crystal.
My question, and the question I get from constituents, is who ultimately pays for this investment? How much of this cost will be absorbed by JPS versus what do you intend to recover from extra tariffs from the customers who usually bear the brunt of these kinds of investments and expenses? Who pays? Will it be the customers? And how much should they be bracing for?
So, Mr. Grant, just before you respond, there was some uncertainty when we were dealing with this matter. First of all, what was the size of the loan? Because the figure had been all over the place. So if you could just give us what was the final loan that you received, what are the terms? Was there an origination fee, and how that impacts your capacity to complete the restoration?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll just finish up on the second part of your question in terms of the overall cost and what are we restoring to. We are restoring primarily to like in kind, but build in some elements of resilience, like having the pole concrete, the expanding foam, and then in some areas, particularly along the transmission corridors, we're looking to use composite poles instead of wooden poles that can elevate the rating closer to, say, a category 5.
Well,
But
Crystal,
that's
me
really,
there, you know?
selective. But for the greater part of the restoration, in the interest of time, you're sort of restoring with like in kind, because frankly, to build in these resilient components, there are long lead times on these materials, north of 6 months to a year on many of them. So it's on a go-forward basis that we look to have that in our plan. And frankly, we have already integrated that in our overall profile with our resilience component in terms of how we operate the business. So that takes care of that. As in terms of the loan and the numbers, I'll speak to that a bit, and then I'll have Vernon, my CFO, chime in. So the revised and the latest estimate that we have on the restoration cost is in the order of $300 million. So that has been reduced. That $300 million.
That was the original estimate was 450. Was that? You said it has been reduced to 300. What was the original estimate?
I mean, we had it in the order of, say...
I know there were various estimates.
Yeah. So I would just, I think right now, I know where we're at 300, okay, based on where we're at and the progress levels. I think that's the key number. And as we think about that 300 million, the funding for that comes from several sources. It comes from, one, in regards to the order of 40-something million. Brennan will correct me. We also have the loan in the order of 150 million. We have cash from operations, and we also have contributions from our shareholders also in terms of investments into the system. Now, we are currently at 95% restoration. On a go-forward basis, we have restored the majority of, say, some of the critical facilities from, say, a transmission perspective that's required to get customers back. On the distribution system, we still have some build-outs in some of these areas in the West that we have catastrophic damage. So while we look to continue with the funding, I think it's important to note that a portion of that $300 million, just north of, say, over $200 million, we will fund from cash from operations, but that's in building back the redundancy in our transmission system to have reliable and stable supply, and it's not a critical part to, say, having customers restored. So I just wanted to clarify and share that. Vernon, I'll just have you touch on more.
No. With respect, I don't think it's clear. You said
it is not.
Clarify, but
it is not.
Estimated 300 million.
All right.
150 plus 40 something million. 150 from the government, 40 something million from the emergency disaster fund. Right. That carries us to near 200 million. You did not specify cash from operations or cash from shareholders, but then you refer to a bit over 210 million or something like that. What I'm trying to, what I think committee is trying to get to, what's the deficit? What's left to get you to the 300 million? Maybe.
Yeah, I'll have Vernon go ahead and take that. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair and Committee. So, as you have outlined, so in terms of uses of funds, we have approximately, around 340 million in terms of outflows relating to Melissa. 300 in core infrastructure spend and about an incremental 40 million in working capital. What are the unappreciated elements that part of the response and support we provide is that we have deferred payments of bills to customers which we have to fund. And we subsidize some of that during this time as part of the efforts to help customers get on their feet. And that's around $40 million in terms of that element. In terms of sources, 150 from the loan. The interest rate on that loan is 5.5%. It's a 5-year tenure. Those are the key terms. There's no
other fees.
No fees. All right. Interest paid biannually starting 2026, a 1-year moratorium. In terms of other sources of funding, the EDF around 42 million, the other short-term loans from commercial lenders about 15 million, and the rest, the lion's share of that over 125 million or thereabout is from our cash from operations and our investments are made from unregulated businesses, as in funds paid from our shareholders into JPS to help support our cash at this time.
Okay, so when you say the 40...
So, JPS is supposed to pay back this loan in a 5-year period. JPS is not guaranteed a contract after 2027. How are we getting back the money? Did you hear what he just said a while ago? Let's go back.
Interest rate on that loan is 5.5%. It's a 5-year tenure. Those are the key terms. There's no
other fees.
No fees. Yeah. In terms of sources, 150 from the loan. The interest rate on that loan is 5.5%. It's a 5-year tenure. Those are the key terms. There's no
other fees.
No fees. All right. Interest paid annually starting 2026. 1 year.
Interest paid annually starting 2026. But your contract ends 2027. Do you guys understand my concern? Where if JPS is not going to get the contract, according to the advice, this was an unsecured loan. Are we going to get our money back? If JPS goes and they use somebody else, how are we ensure that to get back 150 million plus with interest?
Moratorium. In terms of other sources of funding, the EDF around 42 million, the other short-term loans from commercial lenders about 15 million, and the rest, the lion's share of that over 125 million or thereabout, is from our cash from operations and our investments are made from unregulated businesses, as in funds paid from our shareholders into JPS to help support our cash at this time.
Okay, so when you say the 40 million to support working capital, for example, could you just give the committee members a sense? JPS's revenue is X. A percentage of that basically flows straight through to the power generating companies.
Absolutely.
A percentage of that goes to the Ministry of Finance as GCT. So we don't have a good sense of what is left to run the distribution or the transmission and distribution network and all the other commercial and administrative operations monthly, so that would that 40 million represent 1 month's working capital, an additional month's working capital, 6 weeks, or would that? I'm just trying to get a sense of that.
Yes, so that 40 million would be a additional working capital that we would have had to deploy as a result of lower collections, both deliberately, meaning we offer support to our customers and we anticipate it. So for example, if we are billed, to your example, Chair, $10 for the power that was sold to us by an independent power producer, we know out of a combination of A, we would have actually reduced that cost in December to 80, that's $20. And we also knew that given the general economic condition of our customers, to expect that not everyone will pay on time in full, and we also would have extended that, okay, we will not be disconnectable. So we would have suffered an additional 20 million or $20, this example. Hence you have $40 short to pay that $10 that you hold that IPP. So that means that that's cash that we were out of pocket.
So we get that the restoration cost has drastically decreased by some $100 million. Remember, initially we heard between 350 to 400 million US. Now, the boss is telling us that it is at 300 million US. Right? They're trying to, as they go along, use certain type of posts that can withstand a category 5 hurricane. We get all of that. What I'm still not getting from this meeting, how much more does JPS need? Right? They get 150 million US from the government. They got some 40 odd million US from the EDF fund. But he failed to answer the question as to how much has JPS basically used up and how much more will they need. Me still not get that out of all of this question and answer. So I want you to drop your comment.
Yo, I am even more confused. I'm even more confused about JPS right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know what he just said, but he don't even something. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see what happened at PDTV News tonight. Cause trust me, I didn't watch nothing. Nothing at all. I have no idea what's going on. To be honest with you.
And just as I would have gotten a good photographer for Courtney and Ishmael and Drake, Gerald Gordon's photography's number. I equally want to say tonight to all of the students who gave to the GoFundMe, to all of the students who shared the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe last night was at Courtney, $1,000. And it was now at $5,800.
Whoa.
This morning, Ramon called me in Jamaica, and he was crying to say, boy, Andre, you don't know what you have done for me. He will get the funds tomorrow to pay for this surgery to get done. I want to say to every donor, remember me saying only one at 3,000, and my students them double it. To every student who participated.
That's amazing.
Every student who participated. And if you want to still give between now and when, Sunday or anytime, you can give to the GoFundMe.
Wow.
You can do what, Jamaica?
Wow.
Give to the GoFundMe. Ramon needs the help. He called today and somebody ordered lunch for him. You know that Courtney, somebody ordered lunch for him. If there are good Samaritans out there who want to say make them order lunch for Ramon, can't say no like that.
Oh, technical issues, okay.
Inside the hospital food, horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. But thanks to everybody who
that's amazing.
Really appreciate, because one thing we know about my students then is when I beg for people, them give them. But if I say, I'm going to say this way, it might sound away. If I ask for support for Courtney and Auntie Claudia and me, why minimal?
PDTV supporters, and I need to stop it. You need to stop it. That's not cool, bro. Anytime Andre wants something to do with anything, and him asking him, yo, come on, man. See me like, listen, it don't sound no way to me. $5,000, $6,000 from last night till now. And when Andre says supporting kitchen, all if you not buy enough food. All if you not go eat the food. Brother, come on, man. Tell him to feed somebody in the street. Give somebody a meal. Order something. And go feed some homeless people out there. You understand? Random. Big man thing, brother. I want to support the Virgin, man. No joke about it, man. I want to support the Virgin. Him really, really work hard, bro. Real thing, brother. And you see how the man push out for the people and we get. You can imagine it, I say it already, can you imagine if he was the Prime Minister? All the people them down in the West and everybody would have get help fast. The man impact is on point. The man impact is on point. And you need to support the man. Andre is supposed to come on his show at night time and ask nobody for no donation. You're supposed to just drop super chat. Drop super chat. Use the super chat. The way on me watch foreign people them. Super chat is used for you to put your views out there about the topic, you know. Regular $10 and $20 regular super chat, man. Remember say YouTube are gonna take with 30%, you know. Me not have super chat. So if somebody wants to support me, they definitely have to use the Cash App or whatever. Right? Me not have super chat. But the point I'm making is giving the value. And it's not just Andre alone. Oh God, Mystic Sensation. Yo, no, Jamaica, the support of them. If you support the people, them, at top 5. ABR News. These people, they are foreign and have them super chat. Nobody know if you ask, so no. Andre is supposed to ask nobody 15,000, 20,000 people, 10,000 people nightly. Brother, nobody is supposed to watch him on pocket. And nobody is supposed to argue. Nobody is supposed to support the people, them, brother. Me even talk about myself. Me I just come, me I free. Alright? Me now put myself in it. Mr. Whale known something are foreign too. Them man ain't not gonna ask nothing but a whole heap of quality information. Support the people. Sometimes people have to beg enough to hit the like button. Come on, bro. You know what? Let me move on here, man. Let me move on. Let me move on before I go up on a tangent. Let me move on. Let me move on. Let me see what I want to say. Because, Lord have mercy. What I say?
About what I did for Donald. Every other time Marlon has misrepresented the views. Marlon went on the JLP FM because it's not a national radio, it is a JLP revolt. And Marlon said Jamaica that is because Mark Golding is against strong black women. Yeah. Him says because Mark Golding against strong black women, why Mark Golding came out. If what can go so.
Bro, me need to pay. Yo, you see certain people in jail, people not pay them no man again. Marlon Morgan, one of them, you know. Brother, it's a waste, it's a empty barrel. Them never come with nothing. Brother,
but it's syrup, come here, syrup. Come here, syrup. Sour syrup. Sour syrup. Sour lime. Juki, sour lime. But Marlon, the substantive issue that Mr. Golding highlighted was one, that she is a political appointee.
Exactly.
Marlon, isn't it true that Kedisha was a part of West Central Trust Foundation? Wasn't she a part of the Prime Minister's charity? Wasn't she his constituency office? Wasn't she in his political office?
Yeah.
At Ministry of Education?
That's a fact.
So if it is that she has had those antecedents, how then is Mark Golding wrong to have spoken the things that you have said? If Mark Golding was against strong black woman, why would he have had such a beautiful wife called Sandra Golding? A strong black maroon woman as his wife. So when you're going to use the argument of color, Marlon, look there, his wife and two beautiful daughters.
Come on now.
Strong black woman.
Come on now.
The chairman of the People's National Party, strong black woman. The vice president of the People's National Party, Donald Markley, and Natalie Nita Garvey, strong black women.
Brother, you see, it's so sad that he even made the argument. Like, his credibility is done. Listen, I'm going to play a clip from Colin Bell and listen to what Ralston Hyman said yesterday about the same topic.
Today, the parent company and partner of Discovery.
Bradley, read that again. Read that again.
Okay. Government of Jamaica. This is a release from the Ministry of Agriculture.
Got the right place with it still. You went to the toilet.
Yeah, man.
Alright, see that now?
One thing, sir.
Married to a black woman.
See that now?
Belong in a cesspool. The opposition has no respect for black women. A man who...
Hey, nobody can fire him?
No.
Because the Prime Minister can't touch him.
No.
Listen to Ralston Hyman.
The position that the country is in is that you can have somebody like that has been involved in so many things that have resulted in misallocation of scarce resources and health sectors in such a parlous state. And nobody can fire because the leader himself has no credibility. So we have a big problem. And
context, he was talking about Christopher Tufton and Andrew Jones can't fire Christopher Tufton because he's compromised as well. Let's continue.
The problem when it tells you the problem we have in the country when somebody like Marlon Morgan can come and say the leader of the opposition has no respect for black women. A man who might have a black woman and a black kidney and black family. So say we're going down in a cesspool, we can't get any loan. Yeah?
How which part Marlon did they attack in the garbage then?
Me and Paul, yes, I want to talk to us about stick to this. One of them not think before you talk and looking at yourself as you said. That kind of comment belong in a cesspool. And nobody finds that credible.
That shows that the man have no sense at all.
Yeah, man, no sense at all, man. He needs to hide himself.
How many years now? Mark Golding have been married to a black woman.
Over 30, 40 years, man. Rubbish, man. Them things belong. Yeah, I said, them things don't belong in our national debate because what the man was saying, I raised some objections about the new permanent secretary in the Ministry of Energy. And this is where in dissent to, and not just one man was there. I don't think believe that's a credible comment. You might not believe that's a credible comment.
But what Mark Golding is saying, that a permanent secretary position is a permanent position. So even if the GLP lose office tomorrow morning, that permanent secretary remains. Now when you take up a political activist, put in a permanent secretary position, what is it? But then again, you know, what can we expect from this government?
Yeah, I try to tell you, and then when I skeet shoot now and gone at them cesspool thing about that is reflective of the man's content for black women. Tell man will sit down and hide himself, man, stop chat garbage, man.
But then he got the right place with it still. He went to the toilet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah.
He went to the toilet with the argument. Yeah, man, rev out, the toilet, nationwide, yeah, man, the toilet. He went to the toilet with it. Only the same can go with the argument, you know. Man and Morgan has no credibility, bro. I mean, talk about misinformation and disinformation. The level of the audacity, the unmitigated gall, they keep attacking Mark Golding. And they have nothing to attack him, man, because the man is a man of integrity, bro. They only can come with lies when we come with truth about Andrew and stuff that come out of his own mouth. Things that him actually do. Crying shame, man. But that's what he said. And I totally agree with Mr. Alston and I second Colin Bell's comments on the matter.
Maureen Webber, who is in charge of the Secretariat of the PNP right now. Strong black woman.
Yes.
So when you're going to argue this fallacious, fool, idiotic argument, man.
Rubbish.
You come in like those gully rats that don't understand. You come in like the gully rat there. He does not understand the line of argument. But I know why, Marlon Martha.
No, I don't agree with Andre. I don't agree with Andre that he doesn't understand the line of argument. I believe he's purposefully selling out himself and his credibility just for $1, just to be relevant in the Jamaica Labour Party. He is what you call a crash dummy. He's killing his whole career for the Jamaica Labour Party. He has to do these stupid things and make these stupid arguments to be relevant in the Jamaica Labour Party. It's a crying shame. No self-respecting person is going to come out and make an argument like that about Mark Golding. No self-respecting person. You have to have respect for yourself. And I agree with the Gully Rat comment, but it's not that he doesn't understand what he's saying and he doesn't understand the line of argument. He purposefully went to that line of argument because he's being controlled. He's a puppet. He's a crash dummy. BOLO V&R? Never that. Never that. Me have my own brain. No boy can't program me. No girl can't program me. My loving mother. She, outside of God, my mother want the best for me. She comes second. I tell her straight. She prove it over and over again. The love is unconditional. And not even my mother can program me. I mean, no. So she have my best interest at heart. And my mother can't program me. So who are some guy if you come program me? And some politician and some you're mad? Yo, listen. One of them really know me still. You know what I mean? Like, no, not at all. You know,
I know why men like you and Abka Pitendi and a few of you use ad hominems and use other red herrings to attack. Because the truth is, my lord, you see, if you were trained by people like Norma Rochester,
My God.
in my time, there was a powerful debating lady called Norma Rochester. Mrs. Norma Rochester Courtney. You see, are you Currency Morrison here and ungrateful rich? No, man. Currency Morrison is an ungrateful bitter girl, Jamaica. As a member of government, Norma Rochester made Currency one of the chief adjudicators for debating in this country. Teach her the rudiments and the style and the swab of debating. Why do you think people like Crystal Tomlinson and Kenisha Kelly, and no, Kenisha Swede were married to the Kwashik that they one day. But when you think about some of the powerful voices in this country, who are good debaters, Norma Rochester played an integral role in our lives. And I wonder, on both sides of the political aisle, Norma Rochester built our careers as speakers in this country. And I have never seen Courtney, not Ishmael, find that picture of Norma Rochester tonight. I have never seen Courtney, the government or members of the opposition, who has ever given even Norma Rochester a national award.
Wow.
The National Schools Debating Competition, Courtney. Every one of us who went through leadership and the National Youth Parliament over the years, the chief adjudicator, the woman who made us who we are, was Norma Rochester. Go and Google her name, Courtney. Go and Google Jamaica. What Norma Rochester did to make some of us great. You see me, Jamaica. See, Norma. You see me, Courtney, when I did my first debating competition. I'm a floor St. Jago High School. Yes, I was in grade 8. But light, but eloquent Jamaica. And my debate.
Okay, so this is a Google search of her. Norma Rochester was a dedicated Jamaican educator. Norman Rochester was a dedicated Jamaican educator and a coordinator of the National Schools Debate, known for her passion for youth development, eloquence, and research. She passed away at her home in St. Andrew in February 2015, rest in peace, after a brief illness and previously lectured at the University of Technology. She was widely known as a coordinator for the National Schools Debate, promoting critical thinking and research among students. Background: she was a member of the Toastmaster organization and a lecturer at the University of Technology in UTech. She believed in developing scholarships and leadership skills in youth, stating if these students take leadership and practice these skills, we should be in good hands. Wow. Alright, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And that picture, yes, that is her. I'm looking at her picture here in the pictures on Google. There's another lady some other ladies from the United States that has the same name, but that picture with her in the red. All right, Andrea, teach you something. I'm going to move a little bit forward here.
The syrup of the chicken get too important, but he's not eating the syrup of the chicken alone. And the stale bull and the stale meat then, the stale bull and the stale front. All a man like him can't perform, Courtney.
Yeah? And today he makes me cry.
Tough and Confident Review Committee will effectively assess UHWI. Brother, we don't want you nothing from Tufton. Tufton need to resign. We don't want you nothing from Tufton. Whoa. How did I not see this in the Gleaner? What? DPP are one man. Hold on there.
There are people in this country any calls tonight. Please give me. Just ease up on me tonight, Dr. I'm asking you. And you have to keep my phone line so I follow my script. Please and thank you. The Director of Public Prosecution has now decided she's taking the case of the SSL executives out of the circuit court and carrying it to the Supreme Court.
I know that.
She's taking it to the home circuit court, Jamaica. That's serious. So it is a serious criminal offense. Free agent. You're no longer free agent, Jamaica. I like her. Listen to what the report said about the SSL case. Listen to this. And I'm saying to you tonight, that when I heard it, I said to myself, Claudette Thompson is doing an exceptional job. And some might not agree that, but Jamaica, circumstances has made her. You know, Jamaica, there are people in this country that are tired of the corruption.
Fed up.
You have people in this country that are fed up with the corruption. There are people in this country that want to see the corruption go.
One by one.
One by one, they want to see the corruption go. But whilst Claudette, so we soon hear about the case. Play it for me, Ishmael. Play it.
3 former executives charged in connection with the scandal-hit investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL, had their bail extended when they appeared in the Supreme Court today.
Former Director Hugh Crosby, former Montego Bay Branch Manager Sarah Meany, and former Chief Executive Officer Zachary Harding are scheduled to return to court on April 27, 2026 for the continuation of case management.
More in this report from Raquel Porto.
The matter began earlier today in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court, but was transferred to the Supreme Court by way of a voluntary bill of indictment, a move that allows the Director of Public Prosecutions to fast-track serious cases without a preliminary examination. When the matter was called up this afternoon, the court was told that the 3 are charged with multiple offenses, including carrying on security business without a license, issuing securities without a license, as well as failing to maintain a trust account. The other charges are taking deposits as an unregistered entity, borrowing foreign exchange without a license, operating a company in Jamaica without being duly registered, and fraudulently inducing persons to invest. The court was also told that the case file remains incomplete. As part of their bail conditions, a stop order has been imposed and the defendants are required to surrender their travel documents. Meanwhile, King's Counsel Caroline...
So the corrupt government still give the lady the job. Then remove her. Kedisha Campbell Rochester. What an absolute disgrace. This government is a disgrace, brother. I'm talking about a whole disgrace. Not even a... Yo, what's up, Addy? Not even a little bit of disgrace. A whole disgrace. The man them really still put her as the thing... actually operating the capacity. Yo, hey, let me tell you something. I really, trust me, God is really gonna deal with Andrew Honest and his government. Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand it. I don't think you guys appreciate the gravity and the level of power that they're strutting with no checks and balances. But God is going to check them. God is going to check them. Trust and believe. God is going to check them.
Who is representing SSL trustee Kadian Campbell raised concerns about her client being brought to court in handcuffs. The issue was later addressed. SSL collapsed in January 2024 amid allegations of a $4 billion fraud. Last month, members of the security forces and the Financial Investigations Division carried out search and seizure operations at 4 properties linked to the accused in St. Andrew and 1 in St. James. The fraud first came to public attention in January 2023. Former SSL employee Jean Panton was charged in February that year, and a case file was submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in December 2023. Wellgen Limited, a company owned by Sprint legend Usain Bolt, is among more than 200 clients affected by the collapse of SSL. Raquel Porter, reporting for TVJ.
Jamaica. The DPP then, Paula Llewellyn, had all of this on her desk. And Paula Llewellyn failed to prosecute. It had to take a simple country girl called Claudette Thompson to come, take up the report from the Coral report, take up what is on her desk, and prosecute the criminals. She must be protected, Jamaica.
Of course.
She must be protected. She must be covered. And I hope she has her security personnel and team in place. Paula, what Claudette Thompson has done in the last 6 months in the office as DPP,
come on,
you failed to have done it in the last 15 years as
come on,
DPP.
talk truth. Talk truth.
And if the criminal is a criminal, let the criminal come in the handcuffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Many ordinary Jamaicans in this country come up in handcuffs. So if you're a criminal, that because you're part of the white collar regime, the syndicate,
Put them in a
you're not
handcuff.
supposed to be handcuffed.
That is it.
You ought to be handcuffed
Yes.
as a symbolism of the steal and the skullduggery
Of
and the
course.
theft you have done.
Of course.
But Claudette Thompson, I want you to continue. There was a heated exchange in the witness versus the defense attorney in the case surrounding the 3 men who were murdered by the police in 2013. There was a very heated argument with Hugh Wildman and Floyd Green, the Member of Parliament and the Minister of Agriculture. Green stands firm weathering cross-examination in the police murder trial. Hugh Wildman says that Floyd Green suffers from what? He is a stranger to the truth. Hugh Wildman, Jamaica.
Yo, I swear, I just saw it on the Gleaner because while he was talking, I was probing the Gleaner. And I just saw it on the Gleaner and I said, yo, I have to talk about this, but here it is.
That Floyd Green is a stranger to the truth.
He called him a liar, man.
And when I heard that, I said, a stranger mean
A cute way of calling him a liar.
the truth. Cry, cry, baby, moonshine, darling. Take off your shoes.
So you wild man ain't holding back no
When you
punches.
go to Sunday school, the
Teacher call you big bad
dumpy
fool. Crying, crying, baby fool.
So when I heard the argument this morning,
Crying, baby fool.
when I heard the argument this morning, I said, Hugh Wildman went even further. Hear what is what Hugh Wildman said. So if you can, an exchange between defense attorney Hugh Wildman and MP Floyd Green during the cross-examination at the Home Circuit Court. So here's Hugh Wildman. So if you can't tell me who the persons were from the height you were at, how could you see that one of the men was a bald-head one and the other was an Indian descent? Wildman asked. Green responded that he was able to make that observation while reiterating that the two men arrived in Cambridge. At this point, Wildman bluntly told witness, I suggest you saw nothing. Floyd rejected the accusation. Then here, Floyd, I would not put myself through the time, stress, and pain if I did not see anything. So you, Wildman, said to Floyd, you're a stranger of the truth. So what you, Wildman, is saying, basically, anybody aligned to the Jamaica Labour Party is a stranger of truth. Because they're Jamaica Liar Party. They don't come out from a clause of honesty. So because, let me say this to you know, this is why you see Courtney and Jamaica. When you're associated with criminals and predators and scammers and fraudsters, you cannot be still. It's like salt and sugar. Yeah, I mean, it's like oil and sugar. So you're a stranger to the truth, according to you, Wildman. He went even further, Jamaica. Let me tell you what you, Wildman, told Floyd Green. A shame for him. A shame for him, Jamaica. A shame for Floyd. Come here,
Terrible, you know?
Look at the way you, Wildman, said it.
Terrible, man.
It's a shame.
Terrible, for true.
You, Wildman, even went further, Jamaica. Let me find the document. I said, when I'm ready to them, I say, what a bangarang. Wildman said Floyd is also a consummate liar. Mighty God. Wildman said that he's a stranger of the truth, and stranger to the truth, and he's a consummate liar. What can go so?
Wow.
So I thought that the champagne boss was a paragon of virtue. A consummate liar. So did in truth and in fact, did you really see anything, Floyd Green? Or you fabricated things? Mighty God.
Whoa.
Something is off, Jamaica. Something is not
look good.
right, Jamaica. But as you, Wildman, say, he's what?
Liar.
and a stranger to the truth. Mighty God. Uncle Floyd, your quashy lawyer never tell you the petty fugger. The petty fugger Jamaica. The petty fugger and Floyd. I wonder how close are friends they are. They say birds are what?
Body friends.
Their body what, Courtney?
Ride and die.
Their body. Body friends. As you talk about body friends.
No.
Are you aware that the access for information was denied when journalists attempted to get information on the status of the reporting by the Financial Investigative Division?
What?
Access denied.
What?
Meaning that they will not give Jamaican access to what the report has said about the Prime Minister and his statutory.
Something is up, ladies and gentlemen.
So the Prime Minister's body, Dennis Strong, has cut off the nation from being granted access.
Wow.
The Prime Minister body friend.
Wow.
They ride together, they die together.
Yes, ride and die.
They ride together, Jamaica. It has been blocked. So the country cannot know what is happening out of that report.
Mighty God.
You could never see that in the United States.
Couldn't.
You could never see that in England.
A true man.
You could never see that in any developing country.
No self-respecting democracy. No class democracy. You would see that happen. A Dennis Strong being put in the position. You're mad? England don't play them, brother. Let me tell you something. You know, I'm going to start playing English Parliament. I am going to start watching English Parliament because Mr. Will Rattigan do a thing, you know, when I look at the African Parliament, them, I am going to start watching the English Parliament. Because what happened in Jamaica is rough. I remember say it's the same system, you know. Our parliament is supposed to be going in that same manner. Right? But we have deviated in a negative way, not in a positive way for advance the thing. Party shop government them running with Juliet Onis as Speaker of the House. Madness. It has to end, ladies and gentlemen, and we're praying for it to end very swiftly. You understand? Them have to go, man. Them have to go.
Small developing island. But Jamaica is a banana republic. It's a cesspool. It's a skunk dung. It is a dongo. So then it's strong the Prime Minister's ride and die riding body.
So we can't go.
So you and I would not know because access has been denied. Are you surprised that access has been denied? I am not surprised that access has been denied. Who pays the Financial Investigative Division? Isn't it the taxpayers of this country? So if the taxpayers of this country pay for the members of the Financial Investigative Division, how then can the public be denied access to see what is happening? But then it's strong. I tell you, you all will be exposed in the right time. One by one. I don't even need to say they're going to be a jail. One by one. But you know what has been denied? The truth has been denied.
Remember says the gag order government, you know, so we don't really expect no more. No, ladies and gentlemen, the $600 million fraud probe took a new turn in the court today when one of the accused women walked free on bail after being charged by the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency. Ivana Campbell, 29, an executive assistant of Cedar Grove, Portmore, St. Catherine, was granted $1 million bail when she appeared before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on charges linked to an alleged multi-million-dollar scam alert, scam targeting several financial institutions. Oh, so the big one, the same one we want to talk about, right? With the doctor girl. The next girl, Ivana Campbell, right? Campbell is facing multiple charges, including breaches of the proceeds breaches of the Proceeds of Crime Act, Larceny Act, the Law Reform Fraudulent Transaction Act, as well as a conspiracy to defraud at common law. As part of the bail condition, the court ordered Campbell to surrender her travel documents, report regularly to the police, and place her under a stop order at all ports of entry. Mighty God. She is being represented by attorney at law Samoy Campbell and is scheduled to return to court on February 4th. Her co-accused Dwayne Potter, who was not present in court, is expected to appear on the date. Meanwhile, investigators say the alleged mastermind, medical doctor Chloe Dewitt, is set to appear before the St. Catherine Parish Court tomorrow. Me need to find that article as soon as it drop. According to Mocha, Campbell and the other accused were allegedly following coordinated investigations by the agency and the Financial Investigations Division into coordinated investigation. No, into what authorities describe as highly sophisticated fraud operation. Investigators allege that the scheme carried out over an extended period and involved the use of forged and fraudulent obtained documents, resulting in 5 financial institutions being fleeced of more than 600 million. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why did they give Ivana Campbell bail? That don't make no sense to me, and let me tell you why. As a judge, remember that this case had to do with what? Fraudulent identification. What is the possibility of her having access to get fraudulent identification and fly out of the country? First question that come to my mind. What? If them can make, listen, if they can get access allegedly to IDs that break into financial institutions, you think that they can fraudulate something for get out of the country? Brother, if I even want a small island, my friend, wanna feel so? Tell me what you think. Are the way I deal? Tell me what you think. No one sound observation that I'm concerned or argument. Tell me what you think, no man. Tell me what you think. So that's at the start. That's why I have to start reading the start. More psych tests for a man who allegedly burned down his home. Oh, Westmoreland hit. Lucky player scoops 75 million. Oh gosh, man. After this, I hope a somebody will lose everything. $75 million upon the jackpot. What you mean, my general? January 21st. You see that? You remember? It's really a good. What? A man reverses his car into a taxi and then allegedly stabbed the taxi driver in the neck. What? Yo, a bartender turned a teacher. This is a story to highlight. I like this. This is powerful. Bartender turned teacher. That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that. I like that. Alright, let me just drop this story into the story box over here. Drop this story into the story box over here. Alright. What's next? What's next? See what period I deal with. Oh my god. Wait, MBT Utah Jazz? Shout out to you. Alright. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Moving on. That's a huge win, though. But Parliament hot today? No, sir. Then if you calm down. Yo, I really want to say big up to Mr. Dr. Alfred Dawes. No, seriously. What he stood up and said in the Parliament today, trust me, man. It needed to be said. It needed to be said. Be a foolishness to my God. Pure foolishness to my God. Yo, the man, they need to stop with the AI them, bro. These AIs are getting out of hand. Yeah, these AI videos are getting out of hand, fam. Way out of hand, bro. Way out of hand. You understand what I'm saying? Alright. Yeah, I guess we can do this then because there were some things that came up in Parliament today. Let me see what Mr. Crawford has said. Lord have mercy, that's too long. What is this? Mr. Omar Newell, okay. I have to deal with Mr. Crawford tomorrow.
And I think some very good amendments have been made to the... So, before asking the question, Minister, you can count on my support. And I think some very good amendments have been made to the... Suggestions have been made to the lineup for Reggae Month. I'm very happy that dancehall is being given some pride of place in terms of the celebration, and you managed two of the entertainers who were kind of the soundtrack to my life growing up. Don't know if I'm allowed to name them, but...
Oh, that is, I don't want to hear about that. That's a Babsy Grange, don't want to talk to. I don't want to hear about that. Cybercrimes Act. Omar Newell about the Cybercrimes Act. We hear about what about the Cybercrimes Act.
Before asking the question, Minister,
Sure. I mean, you will lead us here,
The broad point that I wish to make is really consistent with what has been said here by the member for St. Andrew South East. I must say that for me, for a bill dealing with cybercrimes to be brought to the House in 2026, which is addressing the contents of a Joint Select Committee report written in the first half of 2023, and which does not fulsomely address the very serious issues which have arisen with the advent and pervasiveness of artificial intelligence, is a great disappointment. This bill ought to be doing that, because we are living in that age now, and the issues that it presents for our society are real. The law needs to more fulsomely protect persons' images, the image of an individual, their reputation, and the use of their appearance and their voice and other biological manifestations through manipulation to denigrate them, to spread falsehoods, either about them or others, or things that they have alleged to say, which are complete fabrications. These are very serious problems. And I think for the bill to come here and not address that is a disappointment. We cannot say that we are protecting our society and keeping on the cusp of technology when we are not. We support these amendments, but they're dated. They are not dealing with the most pressing problem that has arisen in the last 2-3 years.
And I hope, Minister, that you will give a commitment, although I see the bill is not tabled in your name, but I hope you will give a commitment that the government will move rapidly to convene another joint select committee to update this legislation to address the pressing issues which have emerged in the last 2 or 3 years because of the advent and the growing power and influence of artificial intelligence, which jeopardizes the society while representing a tremendous opportunity as well. But there are clear and present risks and dangers that come with it that we need to protect the society from. And this bill does not do that. There are 2 other points I want to make. When the minister was giving his opening,
remember, said them have one video with what appear to be Andrew Honest, but it's AI, you know, a thieves and not putting anything in. And the same thing, Darry Hardaway, what's up, man? Freedom, big up. It's the same thing he's talking about, you know. So this not have nothing to do with JLP and PMP. This are just law, which, you know, that's his expertise, protecting the people through legislation and laws.
in reference to the fact that there are actually 2 amendments in this bill that make the same point, Clause 2 and Clause 11, which insert after the words any key or key, the words whether electronic or digital. And I asked, hoping that he would explain, what is the difference between electronic and digital, those 2 concepts here? And his response was less than accommodating and unnecessarily so. Yes, especially coming from a minister. I mean, clearly, if he's not sure of it, and you know, if he's not sure what the difference is, there's a technical team here to provide that type of guidance, and I hope we will get it. I'm hoping that we will get.
Bolo, was you in a live stream the other night? Yeah, I've been doing these late night streams. Tonight is my first official, something I call nightly news recap. So these are stuff that happened today in Jamaica, local news, and I'm, you know, what do you mean Bolo TV? You mean outside of my channel? I haven't been on any other person's platform. No, this is the first time in a long time I've seen you typed in the chat. Maybe it passed me, I don't know, but it's the first time I've seen you. I think this is the first time I've seen you this year type in the chat. First time. If I'd seen you, I would have said, you know, hello. But, I mean, whoa. If he doesn't know what it means, he should. Yo, this is embarrassing, bro.
Get that guidance, because the question is a legitimate question, and I would like to understand the difference. Yeah. The other point that I...
Oh, so he's upset. Andrew Wheatley is upset. They kicked you out? None of my moderators don't. My moderators on my platform don't kick out people. None of them. They don't even time people out. These new moderators that I have, nobody kicks out people. No, I don't know about that. I would have seen that. That would have come up. I don't know about that. Anyway, why is this dude? Maybe YouTube kicked you out. Because YouTube is doing a lot of... No, I'm saying none of my moderators don't do that, yo. None of my moderators don't do that. I'm telling you. I don't have those types of... Most of my moderators are older people. They don't even know how to do it. My age group is quite up, like 60, 70, 50 plus. Those are mostly the people that watch me here in the Jamaican audience. So I don't have those type of people that are that tech savvy to block somebody. They really don't know how to do it. Some of them don't even know how to send a cash app or anything like that. They just don't know. You understand? So, no. Anyway, why is Andrew Wheatley biting up himself when Mark Golden is talking? Why is he biting up himself?
Necessarily so. Yes, especially coming from a minister. I mean, clearly, if he's not sure of it, if he's not sure what the difference is, there's a technical team here to provide that type of guidance, and I hope we will get it. I'm hoping that we will get that guidance because the question is a legitimate question, and I would like to understand the difference.
Oh, KB.
Yeah.
Oh,
the other point
okay.
that I wish to make relates to clause 5 of the bill, which is dealing with section 9.
So how disrespectful can Andrew really be? A real back of the class, you know? Real back. The man is talking and the man is actually over talking him while he's on the mic. You can hardly hear Mr. Golden. The level of disrespect.
Members, the members on the members.
The person he is over talking the speaker of the house now. He doesn't intend to be corrected. Mighty God.
The members on his speak.
Thank you. Thank you. The other issue I wanted to raise has been mentioned by the member for St. Andrew Southwest, and it relates to the defense that is set out in clause 1C, big C, to the new offense which is inserted by clause 9(1)(a), and it relates to the publishing of intimate images, and 1C speaks to defenses to that offense of publishing intimate images about somebody without their consent. And one of the defenses talks to or speaks to publishing for the purpose of reporting about historical events. Now, I want to know what that means. What are historical events for in this context? Is a historical event something which you find in a history book? Or is a historical event something which has occurred in the past? And maybe the recent past. It may be last week. So, from that perspective, given that this is a defense that will remove the protection to the individual who has had intimate images about them published, it ought to be very clear what that defense is trying to address and what it is not trying to address. And as presently formulated, it is too general, it's too abstract, and it, to my mind, could undermine the intent of the new offense, which is to protect people from violations of their privacy through the publication of intimate images. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope that those two issues will be addressed, and I also hope that the Minister will assure the House as to when a Joint Select Committee will be convened to modernize this legislation, to take into account the new age that we're living in and the risks and dangers that we are all living through on a daily basis in the absence of legislation that adequately addresses those risks and dangers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The whole of them, anytime Mark Golden get up to speak, all of them look at back of the class, JLP, Minister, MP, yeah, them get hot under the collar, as Mr. Mark Golden would say. They are very disrespectful. But you see, their leader, them a follow them leader. Them a follow them leader. True, true.
Okay. Our intimate image. Mr. Minister, so there are two things. One, I think we can all agree that we have to remove nudity or intimate image from the bill. The other thing I want to speak on is from a personal note, because every day my office is bombarded by people who want to know about the blood pressure medication I spoke about in the video. And what is happening is that there have been AI videos generated of myself educating people about blood pressure, prostate, and all of that. And it is simply not true. So, and even my own colleagues here are calling me about their constituents, and I have to put out press releases. So I am a victim of this heinous act. So I want to draw your attention to Section D, where it says for bona fide educational, scientific, medical, or research purposes. That has to go, because what they're doing is using my image to educate people on these conditions and then lead them to a website. Well, it's a bona fide educational video because some of what is said is true. But it is using my image without my consent. Use it, so again. So, no, but is the idea that they're using my image to educate and then to lead someone to a clickbait site. So it may need to be reviewed, Minister, to protect people like myself who educate legitimately.
Well,
Mr.
The cybercrimes acting serious. Who this now? Zulika? I have to hear Franchika, she a lawyer now.
Like most members of the House, Mr. Speaker, I rise to make my contribution in respect of the cybercrimes bill. Like most members of the House, I do generally support the amendments being brought before the House in a general sense. However, as indicated, there are concerns, Mr. Speaker, as it relates to the artificial intelligence component. And I rise because, as the Minister would have indicated, quite a number of times during his statement, quite a few references were made to AI, but when I had sight of the proposed amendment to Section 9, which is the offense-creating section of the Act, I noted, Mr. Speaker, that there was actually not sufficient ground in this section to mount a prosecution for persons who would have utilized AI to, one, forge documents, and that is very important considering where we are today in our society, and two, even as it relates to the creation of intimate images, which is specified here in Section 5. Regrettably, I fear, Mr. Speaker, that the section does not sufficiently address the use of deep fakes, which is really getting to be so rampant in today's society. And so I wonder, without there being the need for too much delay, whether the Minister might be minded to have the relevant team redraft this particular section so as to make it possible to mount a successful prosecution. To mount a successful prosecution for to address the use of AI to forge documents as well as to manipulate video. Let me be clear, as a practitioner in the legal system, when I look at this section, I can see where a defendant can very easily say, having used AI to create a deepfake image of an individual, of a real person, can realistically say before a court of law, but this is not an intimate image of any individual, because this is not a real person. And so it is a real risk that we all face. It is a real risk. It is a real risk that we all face in this House. And
why is it when the People's National Party is giving I'm talking about this is not grandstanding, this is constructive legal probing into the bill. Why is it that they face so much opposition from the ruling party? Why is somebody interrupting Ms. Zulika Jess One, she deserves the respect right off the rip. Two, she deserves a higher level of respect because she's a lawyer. She literally does this for real. I don't understand, bro. I don't it's like these people are just these people are just the worst, fam. I'm truly sick and I haven't really followed up politics, but I am so over the Jamaica Labour Party government. I cannot wait for God to intervene. Well, I can wait, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, Lord, I beckon unto you. Please, dear Lord, intervene. I'm tired of them, man. Tired of them. Tired of them. Them is a roadblock towards real success and prosperity for the people of Jamaica.
So I do not rise to be partisan. I rise to see how best we can have a meeting of the minds so as to protect the Jamaican public in this respect. And secondly, I note at 1C, subsection 1C, that it is a defense in any proceedings for the commission of an offense under the very same subsection that I referred to just now, for the defendant to show that the image was published only to the individual depicted in the image. And this causes great concern for me, Mr. Speaker. It raises great concern because I wonder, is there a reason why there should be a defense simply because the image was disseminated only to the person, the affected person? Why should it be a defense in circumstances where one of the most critical developments that we've seen now are instances where persons suffer such mental distress, mental anguish after having seen their images plastered or perhaps even not shared, but simply sent to them? It causes such anxiety. Why should it be a defense simply because the image was simply shared to the person in question, to the victim? Why is there need for there to be a defense in this respect? This is a matter that a judge can properly bear into consideration in determining matters to do with sentencing. It's a mitigating factor, if you will, at the very highest. But I really am unclear, Minister, as to why it is included as a defense. And if it is a defense, is it an absolute defense or is it a qualified defense? This section does not make it clear. And so my question to you, Mr. Speaker, is there a reason for the inclusion of this particular section which provides that if an offender simply publishes the image to the victim?
Let me help you out, Ms. Zulika Jess. You know what the intent is? The Jamaica Labour Party vloggers to use this method against the PMP on a regular basis. That is the reason why.
Victim, then that's a defense. Why is it a defense? Why is it a defense when mental anguish can be caused by publication to just the victim? Why is it a defense? And finally, in an age, Mr. Speaker, where we understand that one of the most difficult challenges faced with cybercrime legislation is that to deal with enforcement. Enforcement in the sense that many cybercrimes are actually committed by persons residing in other jurisdictions. And so against that background, there is a need for strong international collaboration. I therefore rise to ask in tandem with the learned members, is there a reason, is there a policy reason why we have not acceded to the Budapest Convention, which will actually allow for extradition of persons in other jurisdictions that commit cybercrimes offense, as long as you are a member or a party state to that convention? And so those, in short, Mr. Speaker, represent my contribution.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen, hey, man, I can't wait for Zulika just to be a part. I can't wait for her at the People's National Party. I want to see her in the capacity when the People's National Party actually win. I want to see legislation being crafted, sound. I'm talking about the best lawyers, man. I'm talking about people that care about the people. Isaac Buchanan. Oh my God. Yo, bro. Yo, I'm telling you, man. Yo. Boy, hey, listen, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Me like Mr. Kenneth Russell. Let me hear Mr. Kenneth Russell I say real quick.
It's timely, and Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just two quick comments, questions, Minister. And I think the bill is timely, and I wonder though, first, the focus on generated images does not make any provision for audio, and we know that deepfake can also cover and be used to have what are called voice cloning and so forth. So that more explicit use of, or at least broad.
Let me tell you something. You know what this exposed? To be quite frank with you, whoever is responsible for this bill, they are not qualified for the job. They're not ready. They are not studied enough. They are not astute enough for that particular job that they're in. Back of the class. I don't know who it is. But the type of questions and concerns that the People's National Party have with the Cybercrimes Act, the act is sloppy. I haven't even reached Isaac Buchanan yet. This act is sloppy. Real talk.
What is generated from images only to also include audio is one consideration which I'm asking that we make. Secondly, the generated images focus on nudity with good reason. And it is important, however, that we also think about the other ways in which generated images can cause harm, can cause anguish of one kind or another, as the member from Northeast St. Elizabeth said. And so to broaden what we're speaking to, so that we do not have to come back here in short order to revise the bill, would be important. My second point has to do with reporting. We know from the Child Care and Protection Act that there is mandatory reporting, so that is covered in another act for children. And from my understanding of this bill, reporting as well where we know of a premises where activity is taking place. And I'm asking for consideration, Mr. Speaker, of reporting, required mandatory reporting, whenever it is known that someone is involved in generating or participating in activities that would be criminal under this bill. So cybercrime activities, because at the moment we can know and close our eyes to it, but if the law requires us to report as it is required for children, I think it would help us to take a step further to ensure we're protecting children, and especially the elderly, who are often victims in this regard. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Whoa, let me hear Isaac Buchanan.
Support your Minister. I rise to support the amendments to the Cybercrimes Act. I just wish to make a comment on Clause 8, which would be Section 15, and just to point to you what I genuinely believe may bring some fear or apprehension or fear of prosecution in relation to the lack of a definition in relation to the premises that is intended to be covered in this section. So it's not a criticism, it's just a wonder, and in light of what my friend from St. Andrew Southeast would have said, whether or not it's something that could be reviewed. Nothing I say here I think would prevent the passing of a legislation, but just wondering if it's something that we need to look at. In certainly the Dangerous Drug Act, the fraudulent transaction legislation, a lot of the activities are physical. This section, as worded, speaks to two types of knowledge. Actual knowledge, which is the knowingly cause, and then there is the turning a blind eye, kind of strict liability, being negligent. What is a little bit problematic is whether or not how we define who is the person in control of a premises, and whether we can control, as the section speaks about, any act under the Cybercrimes Act. You as a premises owner, landlord,
I can go to even the warder to the minister of the state minister in security, even the warders in the prison institutions, and cell phone access, especially with the malicious communication, whether the premises and how liability comes about by a failure of defining the premises in relation to cyber crimes, because it's not general, or we can't make it comparative to the Dangerous Drug Act, where there's some physical substance that somebody can, or activities in and out of a premises. Youth club persons, community centers can find themselves in trouble with the law, because the definition is not restricting or kind of giving guidance out of the legislation by the definition section. So I'm just raising it to say it may be something to consider or review. It won't prevent, I support it 100%, but there was a famous case, Sweet and Parsley, where Lord Reed would have said we're not in the business of turning ordinary citizens into criminals. And a section like this also gives police wide powers to enter premises that has sometimes a owner, landlord, sublease, a lessee, or even family members who would not have known in a situation where TikTokers or teenagers decide to send malicious communication, or is in problem with multiple girlfriends and decide the TikTok drama that unfolds, and you find parents in trouble, or pastors in churches, youth clubs. Just something to consider. Thank you.
Whoa.
Minister.
Whoa. This is why we need different intellectual mind, because that right there that he just raised, that's serious. They have a lot of work to do on this bill, this cyber acts, something. No, I definitely gotta hear Mr. Julian Robertson. I'm sorry, man. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna get it done, because you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna get it done. Wow.
A joint select committee, that was it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to make two sets of comments. One, I want to start with process. The act that we are now seeking to amend is based on a joint select committee that was established in January 2021. The joint select committee substantively had meetings in 2023 and completed its work in May 2023. We are at January 2026. Now, when the amendment to the 2015 Act was done, we had built in a review after a 3-year period. The point I'm making that in 2026, we are now due another review. And the reality is that the work that would have been done almost 3 years ago would not have taken account of probably the most important development in technology over the last century, which is the advent of artificial intelligence. I made this point to say that the lack of timeliness.
Hey, Black Loki. Sometimes I'm genuinely tired at night, but tonight I'm definitely not tired tonight. Tonight I definitely have I didn't even realize I was here for 3 hours already. I didn't even realize it. I'm literally doing what this whole show that I do at night here is about, recapping the things that happened the day before, or on the day, because I start like 11 p.m. or 11:59 thereabout. Hopefully I can consistently start between that hour span between 11 and 11:59 p.m. in the night. I know why I said that. I want to do it on a Wednesday night, on a Thursday night. That's the only nights that I do the recaps, right? The other days I have to be more fluid, so I'm trying to have that for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I want you guys to really put the word out there if you appreciate what I'm doing, so we can have more people in the room, so we can have more discussion, and who knows, maybe we can have I really want to do the calling part, but I need some more equipment. I need specific equipment for the calling portion of it. First of all, I need some more phones. I really don't have a phone right now. My phone is up there. I'm using my mom's phone. The other phone that I do have is not 100%. So that's a problem. The other one that's right here This is my mom's phone. However, it has a real issue in charging, so I couldn't even. No, listen, bro. This is my mother's phone. This phone for BOLO V&R 2.0 for clips that I'm using on clips. This is an iPhone, but it's an older version, so it's kind of, you know, the memory, all of that stuff. So it's a half a phone. It doesn't function supremely. This phone now that I'm talking to you on Black Loki, it's a very old Samsung, and it takes forever to charge. Yeah, man. When it comes to the devices, I'm going through it. I'm going through it, my brother. I'm going through it. So, it is what it is. The other day, my best phone that I have for me personally, a car ran over it. It is what it is. The best thing I have that's functioning still is my laptop. And I intend to keep it that way. I don't carry it out. I leave it home. It has its cooler, you know, it runs smoothly, it doesn't stick, it doesn't glitch. It's a very expensive computer, thank God. And I have a subcomputer that I use for my own, you know, like entertainment or whatever. I don't overuse this one. I only use this for work. So if it's not working, it's resting. Yes? I need microphones, headphones. Well, microphone. I need a proper microphone. I need headphones. I need a proper Bluetooth box that can use the what do you call it? The jack to the microphone, and then I can use the Bluetooth speaker for you guys to hear while I switch to microphone to record. I need that type of setup. Yeah, I know exactly what I need, but everything costs money. Therein lies the issue. You understand? So no, I don't have 5 phones. I don't. I really don't have a phone right now. That's a half a phone. This is a quarter phone and my phone mashup. That's the reality. That is the reality. This phone that I have confiscated from my mother. And like I said, it charges when it feel like. You understand? Yeah, man. Yes, it's a very complex situation, but that is the honest truth about it. So, if there's anybody out there that is watching right now that, you know, appreciates what I do on the platform, and you want to be an angel and sponsor me one of these devices which I need, reach out to me. I'll give you the address, my shipping address, so it comes straight to me, and you can purchase it from me online. You don't have to send me $1. Just purchase the item from me online and it's shipped to me. I will clear it. Alright? I will pay for the clearance. Alright? So, like I said, I need phones, microphones, headphones, Bluetooth, special Bluetooth speaker with the jack. Very important, with the jack. This one is old. It's been, I've heard some crowdiness in it, you know. Yeah, man. Yeah, those are the things I really need right now. I really need those things right now. Facts. Anyway, moving on.
Of moving from a joint select committee to a report to amendments affects this particular legislation more than others because the nature of technology evolves so quickly. And so we have to ensure that, particularly for legislation of this nature, that we conduct the reviews and do the amendments in a timely fashion. There are 2 substantive points I want to make. First, the issue of reporting of cyber incidents. In the 2015 Act, we deliberately took the position that financial and other institutions there would be a voluntary obligation on their part to report. The experience and the evidence is that when you look at the number of reports in comparison to the anecdotal and the others that you know exist, the institutions are not reporting what is taking place. That has implications for policy. It has implications for a number of other things. And so a recommendation was made that we should move away from voluntary to an obligatory mandatory reporting to the regulator. And in this case, if it's a financial institution, it would either be the Bank of Jamaica or the Financial Services Commission.
Now, obviously, financial institutions, no financial institution wants the publicity of acknowledging that there are breaches. But I'm sure if you speak to members here and in the general public, there are so many of us who have been victims of cyber criminal activity, particularly around banking transactions. And many of them are settled almost immediately. In that particular case for me, when I reported it, it was immediately settled. And I came to the conclusion that the bank acknowledged that it was a problem. I indicated I was not at that ATM at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was refunded my money. But the reality is that these reports are not being captured by the regulator, and it is important that is so. The second substantive area relates to Section 9, which is malicious communication, which is the most controversial clause in this act. In 2015, the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions published guidelines in relation to how the act should be, this particular clause should be interpreted, read. And I just want to encourage the government in the public education to ensure that those guidelines are made available. They're in the public domain, but to reinforce, because we are in an era where people believe that once you're online, you can say and do anything. And because it is difficult for the people who are offended to pursue the matters, people feel they have a license to almost act outside the law. So I want to encourage the dissemination and the inclusion of that report by the DPP's office surrounding Section 9 in all public education going forward on a continuous basis, so that the public is aware that the persons who are prosecuting, both law enforcement and prosecution, and the judges too, can be up to date with how that report dealt with Section 9. I was a member of the committee that did the review, and as my colleague from Southeast St. Mary said, we are broadly in support of the recommendations that are made. But the main point I would like to make is that with the passage of time, we are almost due now another review of this act to ensure that we incorporate the new advancements in technology, particularly around artificial intelligence. Thank you.
So basically, oh wow, Mr. Brown was first. Oh wow. Let me just play this one. What's your name? Miss Angela Brownberg. Mighty God. Yo, listen. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I'm sorry. I love y'all, but nope. No. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I'm going to leave you guys right now. And I want to thank you all for being here, the ones that are. And I want to encourage you guys to, type in the chat. I want to encourage you guys to engage with me. As you know, once you guys type, I always try to acknowledge you once I see it. So sometimes it throws me off, but I'm willing to facilitate you guys throwing me off. Okay, let me worry about that. I am encouraging you guys to be active in the chat where the conversation is concerned. Many times I ask you guys questions and I don't even get a response. I understand that people, they're moving around, probably someone asleep right now, Yeah, I know, I'm tired, but even when it's in the evening, I think you guys can, Yeah. Cool. All right. See y'all later, man. 3 hours. Wow. Hey. Peace. Thanks for being here.